What's up? So we got Arrow Season 1, Episode 22, Darkness Over the Edge of Town. So this episode starts off with Oliver and the gang, Oliver, Diggle, and Flissy trying to figure out, they're talking about how they're trying to figure out Moira and Malcom's plan because, Moira, they say that all Moira does is leave, go to work, and contact Malcolm Merlyn. And he's like, oh, surprising you should contact him. But isn't it? Yeah, there's also, shouldn't they also say that Malcolm Merlyn also shows up unannounced? But also, doesn't Malcolm Merlyn always call her? I'm so confused by this. So, so they decide to know what they're planning. They have to break into Merlyn Global Group. But while that's happening, Laurel told Tommy that she and Oliver belong together. So Oliver's like, huh? Like, okay, but you and Tommy, you and I can never happen, Laurel. You and Tommy have to be together. So he marches up to Tommy's office later on in the episode, but I'm gonna mention this now before it happens, that he marches up to Tommy's office and says, hey, dude, you have to fight for Laurel. And he's like, there's big problems in you and me, bro. Or is that Spider-Man 2 reference? I don't know. But he's like, hey, he's like, you know why. But he's like, dude, Oliver, you're a serial killer. And he's like, yeah, but there's like a bunch of reasons why. That's worth. So they break into Merlyn Global Group, but So this episode actually starts off with Dark Archer killing all the United industry members, scientists, but I forgot to start it like that, so I started off with the second scene instead of the first scene. I'm gonna mention that Malcolm Merlyn killed all of the United industry members, and Moira sees this on the news as Oliver goes to talk to her, So as Oliver goes to talk to her, she's like, "Hey, stay out of this." But they both get trained, and they get interrogated by Diggle wearing the hood, and she basically reveals that Malcolm Merlyn is planning to level the Glades, the bad part of town, and that she's been helping him because of what her father did, because of what Oliver's father did, and it's just Are they trying to make us like her? Because we don't. This reveal doesn't make me like her even more than I already did. Because, okay, it reveals why she does the way she does, but why are they making us like her? Because I don't. Moira's the worst character. And I know Moira is the worst character on the show. So good job, Arrow writers, for making us like a character that we disliked by the first episode. And we still dislike her. So she says that she was helping him to protect her family and all this, and Oliver's just so shocked. But this seems great because he was able to convince Diggle to wear the hood, and even though Diggle has worn the hood more, like this is Diggle's second time wearing the hood, but I'm just saying, this is a great scene. So let's talk about my dog barking in the background. Let's talk about Thea and Roy. So Thea and Roy are taking pictures of the crime scene because they're like, hey, maybe this will lead us to Merlyn Global Group. So maybe this will lead us to the hood. So Thea accidentally overhears that she's looking for Lance. I have no idea, but she accidentally overhears Detective Pike talking to some guy about how Dark Archer is somehow connected to Merlyn Global Group. So she tells Roy, and they're like, hey, if Copycat Archer if the Dark Archer is connected to Merlin Global Group, if we show up there, maybe he'll show up. So they show up as Oliver's doing his hacking business. Yeah, they just show up as Oliver's doing his hacking business. Oliver makes the excuse that he was going down Tommy and he was going back up, but Thea's like, hey, weren't you back down? She's like, this is Roy. And he's trying to look for the cop. He's trying to look for the hood. And Oliver's like, hey, he's dangerous. Stay away from him and don't involve his sister. But Roy takes it and says, this guy's a huge wimp. And she's like, Roy takes it and says, this guy's a huge wimp. And won't do this for, yeah. So Thea basically says that, hey, he spent 5 years on an island alone, which we found out he wasn't actually alone. He had Shadow and Slade and Yao Fei, and he spent 5 years on the island alone, and was led to believe dead. And then Roy snaps at her saying that he lost somebody too, and they're not coming back. So who did Roy lose? Are we ever gonna find out who Roy lost? I don't know, but yeah. So Diggle has to pretend to be a security guard, and Felicity pretends to be in love with Merlin. He's like, he's like, hey, your name's now, Merlin. And she's like, she loves him. He's her man. I love Felicity. Never stop being that funny. I just love it. So yeah, so they get in, and yeah, so yeah, and they discover that there's a box, but so Oliver goes over to Laurel's place, and he and Laurel end up making out with Tommy seeing outside the window, because obviously Laurel was like, Oliver was like, hey, he and Laurel can never be together. That's what caused Tommy to go there and confess his love to Laurel, only to see his former best friend kissing his current girlfriend. Does that mean Laurel's cheating on Oliver with Tommy, and Tommy's seeing the cheating, or I have no idea, but those are... So Tommy's obviously going to confront Oliver about this, saying that about how, So anyway, after that, Oliver goes to confront Malcom Merlyn. Malcom Merlyn's like, hold up, bro. You tried to save him. Merlyn tried to kill Oliver. Then Oliver tried to kill. Then he tried to kill Oliver. Then he saved his life, and now he's back to kill him. And he's like, make up your mind. And he's like, George. And then Merlyn grabs the arrow, and grabs the arrow that he tried to fire him at, and they have a big fight where Merlyn obviously outpowers Oliver, defeats him, and unmasks him as the Hood. So now Merlyn knows his secret. One Merlyn knows his secret, the other Merlyn's mad at him. Come on. Both of the Merlyn, but I still think that episode was great. It was a great episode. We're almost done season 1, and I'm excited to get to season 2. And as I said, season 2 is a season that starts up this TV the Arrowverse universe. So yeah. But that was episode 22. I really enjoyed this one. This episode made my favorite episode of the season. It had great moments with Diggle dressing up as a Hood to make Moira confess what she'd done. Tommy discovering Oliver and Laurel sleeping together, and Felicity. That scene with Felicity was just hilarious, and we can all agree. That scene with Felicity where she was like, she loves Merlyn. Merlyn's her man. I love that. But I just love this episode. This episode's great. It's a great episode. I was glad to rewatch it because it makes me love this episode even more. Because it just has so great moments. So, but anyway, that was it for this episode. I'll see you next time when we finish off season 1 with the finale.